Ever feel like the world keeps glitching? Is deja vu hitting a little too hard lately? Did you know that some of the most prominent minds in science, from Elon Musk to Nick Bostrom, believe our reality might be a computer program? Mind blown, right? So, are we living in a simulation? In this video, we will see some downright creepy signs that suggest we might just be living in a giant simulation. So stay tuned to get into the deepest recesses of reality and see if we can find the off switch. Number 7. Real-looking virtual gaming. Elon Musk, the tech wizard himself, has this theory that we might be living in a big old simulation. Crazy, right? But let's break it down. This dude, Nick Bostrom, a real brainiac, came up with this idea called the simulation hypothesis. Basically, he's saying that if we humans ever figure out how to make super realistic simulations, we'd probably make a bunch of them. And guess what? We might just be living in one of those simulations. Wild, huh? Now onto video games. Remember when Pong was the bee's knees? Two little bars and a dot bouncing around. Fast forward to today, we've got games that are so lifelike, it's like you're right there in the action. Elon Musk hit the nail on the head when he said our games are getting closer and closer to reality. It's like we're living in the future. But if games keep getting better at the rate they're going, pretty soon we won't be able to tell the difference between what's real and what's just ones and zeros. Elon's not saying we're all plugged into some giant video game console, but he's definitely got us scratching our heads. To understand it better, suppose you're chilling at home, lost in your favorite game, when suddenly it hits you. What if this isn't just a game? What if everything around you is just part of some massive virtual world? Number 6. DNA containing a computer virus. Back in 2017, a team of brainy researchers at the University of Washington pulled off something straight out of a sci-fi flick. They managed to sneak some sneaky computer code into actual strands of DNA. Yeah, you heard that right. Their goal was to show just how vulnerable computers working on gene sequencing could be to a good old-fashioned cyber attack. But some people reckon they stumbled onto something way bigger than just a tech experiment. Think about it. If we can slip computer code into something as basic as DNA, what does that say about our whole idea of biological reality? It's like we've been living in the Matrix all along, and DNA is just the source code. Sure, the researchers might not have meant to blow our minds with their experiment, but that's exactly what they did. It's like they accidentally peeled back the curtain on the whole darn universe and showed us that reality might not be what we think it is. Number 5. The perfection of the universe's constraints. Imagine baking a cake. You can adjust the temperature, the ingredients, the baking time, a million tiny details. Now picture a cake where all those details have to be perfect, down to the last sprinkle, or the whole thing explodes. That's kind of what our universe feels like. The fundamental constraints of physics, like the strength of gravity or mass of a photon, are precariously balanced on a knife edge. If even one of them were slightly different, the universe wouldn't exist, let alone life. The settings were dialed in specifically for us to be here. Spooky, right? Here's the simulation twist. What if those settings weren't dialed in by some cosmic baker, but by a super powerful computer program? Maybe our universe is just one big simulation, meticulously crafted with the right settings to allow for life to emerge. It's a heady concept for sure, but it does explain the fine-tuning dilemma. In a simulation, you can tweak the settings to get the desired results. Is this all just a wild goose chase dreamt up by overthinking scientists? We can't say for sure. However, the fine-tuning argument is compelling evidence in the simulation theory puzzle. It makes you wonder, are we living in the ultimate video game, blissfully unaware of the programmer behind the code? It's a thought that'll leave you staring at the sky, wondering if those fluffy white clouds are just part of the elaborate rendering. Number 4. Paranormal activities are because of simulation. Forget ghosts and aliens. According to some folks on Reddit, those spooky paranormal events might just be glitches in the simulation. There's this theory floating around on Reddit forums like r/are we living in a simulation and r/glitch in the matrix. It's all about how these weird, unexplainable events that give you the heebie-jeebies might be hiccups in the grand cosmic program. Take, for example, a storefront that magically appears one day and disappears the next. Or how about seeing the word render plastered across the sky like you're walking into a new level of a video game? It's like reality itself is glitching out right before our eyes. And then there are those eerie elevator stories, where people swear they've experienced some sort of dimensional slip while riding between floors. It's enough to make your hair stand on end. Sure, it might sound far-fetched, but think about it. Wouldn't it make more sense than ghosts and aliens? Maybe those bumps in the night are just the universe's way of reminding us that reality isn't always what it seems. Number 3, the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect is like a glitch in the matrix that messes with our memories and proves that we are living in simulation for some people. Some swear they saw TV coverage of Nelson Mandela kicking the bucket in the 80s, but he didn't pass away until 2013. Cue the Twilight Zone music. So what gives? Well, some people think this whole Mandela effect deal proves that whoever's pulling the strings on our simulation is messing with the past. They're hitting the rewind button and changing history right before our eyes. Creepy, right? But wait, it gets even weirder. Take the Bernstein Bears, for example. Those lovable bear family from the children's books? Some people swear that their name was actually spelled Berenstein. It's like reality itself is playing tricks on us. And then there's this supposed movie from the 90s called Shazam, starring Sinbad as a genie. Sounds familiar, right? Well, it never existed. Yet there are folks out there who vividly remember watching it. Number 2, quarks with computer code. James Gates, a theoretical physicist who's about as far from crazy as you can get, claims he stumbled upon something downright mind-blowing. He said he's found actual computer code lurking within the equations of string theory, those funky equations that describe the tiniest building blocks of our universe. Now, Gates isn't talking about just any old computer code. He's talking about error-correcting codes, the same kind of codes that keep your web browser running smoothly. There's computer code hiding in plain sight in the same equations that describe quarks, electrons, and all that fancy stuff. So why the heck is this happening? Gates is scratching his head, wondering why these error-correcting codes are showing up where they shouldn't be. Some people think this discovery could turn physics on its head. I mean, if our universe really is built on a foundation of computer code, what does that mean for everything we thought we knew about reality? It's enough to make your brain hurt just thinking about it. But maybe Gates is onto something big here. Maybe he's cracked open a new way of looking at the universe. Number 1, simulation-obsessed world. Back in 2014, the brainiacs at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics did something downright mind-blowing. They hooked up 8,000 computers to create a simulation of our universe, spanning a mind-boggling 350 million light-years and aged it over a jaw-dropping 13 billion years. Now, that's what I call thinking big. Now, have you ever heard of The Sims? That addictive video game where you create your own little virtual world and watch it all play out? Well, turns out we're absolutely obsessed with simulations like that. The Sims franchise has sold over 125 million copies in just its first decade alone. Now, imagine a future version of humanity, armed with even more advanced technology, able to whip up simulations that are so realistic, you'd swear you were living in them. It's like something out of a sci-fi flick, but hey, stranger things have happened, right? So when that day comes, when we've got the power to create simulations that are indistinguishable from reality, you can bet your bottom dollar we'll be diving headfirst into that virtual world. After all, who wouldn't want to play around in a universe of their own making? That's all for today's video. We hope you found something informative about it. Let's give it a wrap, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. See you!